Before the hour, Coach's Corner segment, Coach Adam Fossett, head football coach, athletic director of the BB Comer Tigers. And Coach, just seemed like at some point we just started, and other times it's been a long season. Good morning.
Good morning. You're right about that. It seems like we just started, and then you look at all the ups and downs throughout the season, and you're right. So, but here we are, last game of the year, and going to Thorsby. Thorsby is another team that's riding a high wave. They're 8-1, and I really know how to pick these non-region games. So. We'll go there, and I told you off air, hey, we may play everybody on the roster. So plan on playing a lot of guys, and kind of seeing where it sorts itself out, and we'll finish up this season tonight and start to move ahead.
Last week, you played a lot of players, and I saw some players that I hadn't seen a whole lot of so far in the season, and that was week 9. Where these guys been?
They've been there, Terrell Powell is he played some running back last week, ran the ball really, really well, and ran the ball hard, and really did some good things offensively. He was hurt kind of the first part of the year, and then he's been playing defensively in a couple different spots.
Sometimes do you just stumble across players that have been maybe hurt or play another position and say, wow, look at this guy?
Yeah, that's kind of how it happened. Is we said, hey, go back here and run this way and do this, and he did really well, and we're like, run this play. So and did a good job of it. So he was a big spark for us offensively in the run game and moving the ball, and with us. The key is, and that's with any offense, the key is being able to be balanced. And we've had games this year where we either could run the ball or we could throw the ball, but we've had very few games where we could do both. We've had a couple games where we could do neither. So being able to add that consistency helps. And then obviously some of our other freshmen like Kamari Harris and Isaiah Gable, they've been in the fire all year, and you've been able to see them get better and better and better, and see them improve. So both of them had pretty good, especially second halves of the game. And then I thought Trey Reynolds came in and played really well, did a good job stepping in for Max and doing the things he needed to do, and controlling the offense, and keeping everything kind of under control, and keeping those guys settled. So. Got a lot of guys that are returning. We'll miss 4 of our seniors. We have 5 total. One's been out for most of the season with an injury, but those 4 guys that are playing tonight, we'll definitely miss them in the future. But we're looking to go tonight, hopefully upset and shock Thorsby a little bit before they go into the playoffs, and then we've got to learn some things from this season and get ready for regional realignment, and move forward.
Lee Scott Academy, of course, they were the better team last Friday night, but in the second half, we saw these young kids. We saw 8th graders. We saw 9th graders. We saw sophomores. And I realized that they were maybe up against the second teamers for Lee Scott Academy, but you got a future that looks promising for this young football team.
Yeah, we do. We've got some young guys that'll get after it. We got some young guys that have some grit about them, and will move forward. And we've got some juniors that I think are have figured it out. And if you look at our whole roster as a staff, one day we went down our whole roster and looked and said, how many of these guys are varsity ready football? And I think we came up with like 2 or 3 that were varsity ready, that had varsity snaps and were ready for that varsity level. So the experience will help. You got a junior group that's going to have to make a decision. Are we going to bond together and build and work our tails off during the off season, or are we going to just continue kind of being our own individuals and do our own thing? So that's going to have to be some things that those guys have to get together and talk about. And as a coach and as a staff, we've got to help them and teach them a little bit kind of how to do that, and push them towards that direction. It will be a busy off season, I can tell you that.
You missed your starting quarterback last week, Max Fossett, out with a concussion. Is he good to go now?
Yeah, he's cleared. He'll play tonight. We'll play both Trey and Max tonight, and he's ready to go. He's itching and ready to get back on the field. Had a pretty good week of practice, and you can tell he's a lot more with it this week than he was last week. So, but yeah, we'll play both of those guys tonight, and hopefully both of them have time and protection that they need. So Thorsby does some things that are pretty crazy defensively. So
those 4 seniors you mentioned earlier, we played their final game tonight for the B.B. Comer Tigers, and they've been a part of the ups and downs of this program.
Yeah, Caden and Jakari Brown have been with us the whole time, and they've been with us through seventh grade all the way through. They were part of that group that got to go to Jordan Hare and play, and they've kind of been in that mix. They're 2 that have been in the fire for a long time, and they were scout team guys against the Camores and Chris Wilsons and Zach Carpenters and all that of the world that we had come through. So they've been through it, and those guys. That they will leave a legacy there, and this season is not an indicator of the things that they've done for the program by any means, but those guys have been through it all. And then Ronaldo and Tylen Buchanan are guys that have been with us for a couple years, but those guys they come to work and help us out and do everything that they can. And obviously losing Cam early in the season to a foot injury was tough, but Cam's pretty electric on the field when he's healthy, and he's trying to get back and ready for basketball season. That's kind of his number one love. So, but those guys, man, they'll be missed. And I told them at practice, you're still going to be around because you still got a lot of school left, but we'll miss you from a football aspect, and challenge them to kind of finish out their senior year and do things the right way and finish out on top.
And as we go this morning, you're already working on the anticipation of dropping down to 2A in the next calendar year, and rescheduling, which will be a plus for you too.
Yeah, rescheduling will be a plus, and I'm kind of at the point where I'm just sitting and waiting on the realignment part, because I pretty much have all our non-region games. Well, I do have all our non-region games verbally agreed to. Yeah. So once we get our region and get that figured out, throw in our non-region games, and we'll have a schedule.
Be more local flavor, hopefully.
No doubt. But based on non-region schedule, we'll never have to leave the county. So
that's good.
That's a good thing.
Well, Coach, thanks for coming by this morning. Good luck tonight against Thorsby. We'll talk one more week next week as we wrap up the season. Coach Adam Fossett, head football coach and athletic director of the B.B. Comer Tigers, brought to you by Marble City Pharmacy and the B.B. Comer Athletic Association. We got more Daybreak right after this.